What is up, bodyweight exercise dads? In today's video, I'll be sharing with you Dan John's best tips for busy fathers. If you don't know who Dan John is, he's done so many things. I actually have a list here so I don't forget anything important. Dan is an all-American discus thrower. He has also competed at the highest levels of Olympic lifting, Highland Games. He also holds the American record in weight pentathlon. He's a coach, but also a teacher, having taught in well-respected universities all around the world. Topics such as religion, economics, history, but he's also written my favorite books on strength and fitness. As a matter of fact, when I first got started, I wanted to be the Dan John of calisthenics. That was my original vision. So all that being said, let's dive straight into the interview. So what are your thoughts on that? How do you help people that are family men that are juggling a ton of stuff?
You make a number of good points that but I want to break them apart a little bit. First off, the fitness industry is basically run by people who are about 20 to about 34. The bulk of personal trainers, most of the people on Instagram, all the people who come out with always great diet insights and new, harder ways. Caloric restriction and high intensity works until you're about 34. So just saying, well, I'm going to eat keto. I thought you were on keto. Yeah, I was on keto. Then I did this, then I did this, then I did this. Now I'm doing Atkins and I'm doing Pat Flynn's Dragon compounds with kettlebells, and I'm doing Dan John's barbell complexes, and I'm doing burpees, and I'm doing Tabatas. That's great. And nobody who has kids can do any of that. You can't, once you have children, you no longer can really, listen, I'm hoping, so I'm already sliding over to part two. But first off, you have to be very, very careful about what you hear and read in the fitness industry, because the bulk of the people who are writing the nonsense are young. I'll read an article. In my 4 years as a personal trainer, I've discovered these 8 keys. I started coaching in 1979, and I've written those 10 keys, 5 things, but they're all a bunch of junk. They're a bunch of crap. And the truth is, when you're 28, you can probably do a heck of a lot of things. 28, no kids. You can probably do a lot of things with your diet and your exercise that you're just not going to be able to do later on. Now, it brings us to let me just finish the point. So from basically about 16 to 34, you can get away with just about anything in your training. You can have a guy with a whistle yell at you and tell you, get up, get down, get up, get down, do wind sprints until you vomit, then you do some more, live on 5 or 6 hours of sleep, eat crap, and keep doing it. Once you hit 35, though, the rules change. And trust me, when you hit 55, they change even more. The most important thing you can do is make some decisions before you suddenly have a family. And I'm just talking about kids. I'm talking about the spouse. I'm talking about the in-laws. I'm talking about the community, the neighbors, is you've got to figure out things that work for you in the area of shopping for food, cooking or preparing food, and serving food. And you just have to have that. If you went from your mom's cooking, and then you move, you get married, and on Monday you expect the love of your life to now take over as not only your partner but your mommy, you're going to struggle a little bit too. You'd better know how to shop, how to prepare food, how to serve food, and how to clean up. I think, because once children come along, it's your habits that are going to dictate your nutrition. And when I say habits, it's not just if I go up my kitchen right now and I go reach in the fridge blindly, the chances of me bringing something out of the fridge that's got a lot of vegetables in it that's probably good for me is high, because my fridge doesn't have a lot of junk in it, because I'm a grown ass man. Okay. And so in my fridge right now, I can go up. We made this delicious multi-bean salad the other day. I made handmade potato salad from those Yukon Gold potatoes. I had like 12 different vegetables in it. I've got barbecue chicken I made the other day with a lemon and herb sauce. I've got some, they look like hockey pucks, but they're lean beef hamburgers I grilled the other day. So I can go upstairs right now, reach in, pull out about 4 or 5 items, have a completely protein and veggie laden meal, because I'm a big kid, because I know how to shop, I know how to cook, I know how to clean, and I know how to prepare, and all the rest. When it comes to exercise, especially with young kids, the habits are going to show up again. You know, if you think you need to go into the gym and do a 35-minute prehab thing where you go through and you activate all your muscles and you make sure, I got nothing with making sure your chakras are aligned, or, you know, if you're a Virgo and the moon is rising, so you have to do, you know, front squats instead of, I have no issues with that. But you very quickly find out when you have kids, when people ask me, like, how do you come up with these workouts? 1 lift a day, the transformation program, easy strength, loaded carries, all of those are because I was a father. I had 15 minutes some nights. That's all I got to work to train. And it's interesting I say this because I was a full-time administrator. I was teaching classes online. I was coaching. I had 2 daughters in middle school, and yet I was throwing international levels in the discus. Now, why was I being able to throw international levels in the discus? Is because I did the 1 lift a day program. I did easy strength. I did loaded carry. I did programs that worked with my lifestyle. They weren't somebody else's. I had to invent them. And I'm not, if you get a chance, come over here and pat me on the back. But what I did is I said, I've got this much time. I wish I had this much. Interesting thing, after about 2 years of training in those 15, 30-minute blocks, I realized that most of the training I'd done, most of my career, was just blowing off, wasting time. And if I could have done it all again, I think I would have thrown farther and been even more successful as a businessman, as a human person, because I wouldn't be training 6 hours a day. I'd train 1 hour a day. I had a coach from the University of Florida come and watch me coach my athletes. And at first he's like, And then about hour 45, she's like, okay, wow. So your throwers are turning 100, 200, 300. And I go, more like 500 times in a session, discus throws. And he goes, I just can't believe how much time we're wasting. And he just started taking all these notes, because he realized that we didn't, because it was a very academic school, we didn't have the time to waste doing all the other stuff. So we got to work. People were getting, we just threw out everything. So what you need to do is, if you're going to try to make it as a dad, as a grandfather, as a good uncle, or anybody listening, is you gotta love and respect the 3 big pillars. And that would be the food, the shopping, the cooking, the prep, the cutting. I love my George Foreman grill, but not everything has to be grilled. I love my pot, not everything has to be boiled. Okay. You're gonna have to nail down nutrition. You have to nail down an appropriate way to train in a tight amount of time. And the third thing, recovery becomes a million times more complicated. So sleep, you really need to rethink, redo, reattack how you consider sleep, or whatever you want to call it. You can call it recovery, but we all know I'm talking about sleep.
What are some things you want to share with us? Like, what are some books you're working on? Some, I don't know, anything you want to share right now?
I got a new, I wouldn't call it a book, but it's Easy Strength for Fat Loss. We put all the information, some new information in one spot, just to make it easier. Everything's over at danjohnuniversity.com. The new book, Easy Strength Omnibook, is at danjohnuniversity.com/bookstore. And join the university, have some fun. Lots and lots of stuff to read there. Good people on the forum. It's a good place. Yeah. Great. I'll include everything below. Thank you, Dan. Appreciate that much. Okay. Take care. All right. We'll talk soon then. Okay. And let's do it again. See you. Bye-bye.